If you're the kind of person who hesitates before pulling the trigger on any home audio upgrade, I get it. You've probably spent a few evenings scrolling through endless forums, trying to figure out whether a new ceiling speaker will actually fill your living room without breaking the bank or worse, end up as a dusty extra you never use. The fear of spending money on a product that sounds great on paper, but falls flat in your own space is real, and the stakes feel even higher when you're mixing a whole home ecosystem like Sonance with your TV, turntable, and smart speakers. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's talk about the Sonos In-Ceiling speaker system from Sonance, the one that comes paired with its own dedicated amp. On the surface it's a promise, a two-speaker set that fits flush in your ceiling, paired with a compact amplifier that supposedly takes the guesswork out of wiring. The big question, though, is whether it lives up to the hype in the everyday scenarios you actually care about: movie nights, weekday music, and maybe the occasional vinyl session. First off, who should consider this system? If you already have a Sonos ecosystem in place, say a Beam or Arc soundbar, a sub, or a few Play, 1 of 5 speakers, this kit will integrate seamlessly. The TruePlay tuning, which calibrates the speakers to the acoustic characteristics of your room, only works when you have the Sonos app and a supported device to walk around the space. That means you're already comfortable juggling the app and enjoy the convenience of having all your audio sources under one roof. For a family that watches a lot of TV in the main living area, the HDMI ARC connection makes sense. You plug your TV into the amp, and the ceiling speakers become an extension of your soundbar, delivering a more immersive, room-filling experience without the clutter of a traditional home theater setup. On the flip side, if you're a purist who prefers dedicated AV receivers with multiple HDMI inputs, or if you're not already entrenched in the Sonos app's workflow, this might feel limiting. The system only offers one HDMI ARC port, one RCA Line, and relies heavily on AirPlay 2 and the Sonos app for source selection. There's no support for Dolby Atmos directly through the amp, so if you're chasing that specific home theater feature, you might be better off with a more traditional receiver that offers multiple HDMI inputs and built-in Atmos decoding. Now, let's dig into practical strengths. The first thing most users notice is the ease of installation. Since the speakers come as a matched pair with a dedicated amp, the whole package is essentially plug-and-play. Aside from running the speaker wires to the amp, you don't need to worry about matching impedance or setting up a separate receiver. That dramatically reduces the typical tangle of cables you might encounter with separate speakers and an external amp. In my own testing, mounting the speakers at a 22-inch depth worked fine in a 9-foot ceiling, and the AMP's compact form factor meant it could hide behind a bookshelf without looking out of place. Sound quality is where the system earns its high rating. The In-Ceiling drivers, thanks to Sonance's tuning for the Sonos platform, deliver a surprisingly full mid-range and crisp highs for a ceiling installation. When paired with a Sonos soundbar, you get a truly enveloping front center that pushes dialogue clarity beyond what a surface mount speaker would. I tried a low-budget soundbar without the ceiling speakers, and the dialogue in a thriller was easy to miss. Add the ceiling pair, and the voice tracks sit right on top of the action, almost as if you had a dedicated center channel. That's a real-world benefit you can hear while watching a Netflix binge, not just a spec sheet claim. The TruePlay tuning is another practical perk. Once you walk a slow circle with your phone, the system measures reflections and adjusts the EQ. It's a one-time setup that pays dividends every time you watch a movie or listen to a playlist. The result? Consistent, room-specific sound without having to tweak bass or treble knobs manually. For people who don't want to spend hours calibrating an AV receiver with a microphone and test tones, this automation is a genuine time saver. Versatility is also baked in. The RCA Line means you can connect a turntable with a built-in preamp, a CD player, or any analog source you might still enjoy. I connected an old Technics turntable just to see how it sounded, and the vinyl came through with surprising clarity and depth, thanks to the AMP's low noise floor. That shows the system isn't just a stream-only solution, it can hold its own with analog media, which is a nice surprise for those who still cherish their record collections. However, there are some weaknesses that matter once the unit lives in your home. The first is the limited connectivity. If you have a gaming console, Blu-ray player, or multiple streaming devices, you'll need to route them through your TV's HDMI inputs and rely on the TV's ARC to send audio back to the amp. That,